Hi everyone, Velvet here, and I have some stories for you today. But before we get started, can you please do me a huge favor and like, comment, and subscribe? It'll really help the channel out, and it'll get you more videos like this every day. Let's get started. And our first story comes from Claire Effective 748. Am I the beehole for calling my husband inconsiderate for messing up our son's food order? I'm a 44-year-old female, husband is a 44-year-old male, sons are 11, 13. 11 had some medical procedures today, and asked for takeout from one of his favorite restaurants. I called my husband to ask him to order because I was driving. Husband ordered and picked it up. 11 asks for his chicken, and husband brings him a wing. 11 starts crying because he eats drumsticks, like every kid. Husband only ordered a wing and thigh. 11 has always eaten the same pieces, drumstick and breast to be specific. Husband got mad that I didn't tell him exactly what to order. I said if you don't know what your 11-year-old eats, then you don't know him. For background, we order from this place every month or so. We each get the same things every time. Husband and I order equally. He handles the food, cooking and takeout, about 75% of the time. A little bit later, I told husband that I don't want to fight, but this is exactly what I'm talking about. When I say he's not considerate, that all three of us feel like he doesn't care about us when he does this type of stuff. I told him that 13 said Dad always forgets the important stuff when he found out why 11 was crying. We all feel like he doesn't care when he forgets basic stuff about us. He dismissed me, saying that doesn't mean that I don't care about you. I said, well, we feel like you don't care and you can't tell us how you feel. I've come to realize over the last year or so that my husband is inconsiderate, not just forgetful. Other examples, he will eat the kids' last food or snack and not ask if they want it. I had a leg injury this year in a cast and walker, and he left his things in the walkway even after I pointed out there was stuff in my way. And I can't get around. He had to take care of 13's birthday cake because of my injury and didn't get candles. 13 was upset. And husband got mad that no one appreciates that he got the cake. We've been together for 23 years, and he's never gotten me a cake. Let alone put candles in it. His birthday is 6 weeks before mine. I always get him a cake or a special dessert, put candles in it, and sing happy birthday with the kids. So, am I the beehole for calling my husband inconsiderate over a minor thing like messing up a food order? If it had just been the food order, I would have said, yeah, you're probably slightly a beehole and overacting a bit, because even if you know your order, I've been to Popeyes and sometimes they will just give you whatever they want to give you. And then you got to go back in, you got to have a whole thing where they give you back the chicken. It's a whole unnecessary rigmarole. But factoring the other examples, especially the one where you hurt your leg and he's being inconsiderate and not, moving things out of your way so you can get around, yeah, I'd kind of say he's the beehole and you're not the beehole. Looking down the comments, I'm seeing people recommend therapy. And yeah, I kind of agree. You got to figure this out because your kids are starting to remember this about their father and they're not going to forget. I don't know what that's going to mean for the future, but I don't think it sounds good. Sorry, I don't have much more for you. This one's kind of a tough one for me. And our next one comes from Blue Red Screen. Am I the beehole for kicking a friend and his wife out of my house during their visit for refusing to take off their shoes? Background: one of my best friends, generally, they were coming to visit normally when they arrived. I informed them politely that I would prefer them not to enter with their shoes on, especially considering that the day before was a massive cleaning spree all over the place. And I'd like to maintain that environment as it was. He mentioned that it wasn't a big deal, and that he's generally a hygienic person, personally, and can guarantee that his shoes aren't going to cause any issue. I informed him that I don't see how his personal hygiene practices have any particular relation to the cleanliness of his shoes, and declared that I have no particular interest in his personal life and what he does, but that he should accept my desire given being in my house, considering I would have done the same were I at his. He then said I should just get over it and not turn it into a problem, expressing the thought that it's not like I'm going to tell him to just sod off for this stupid crap. So that's just exactly what I did since they asked for it. Now, nearly everyone in our friend group thinks I massively overreacted, in that it's okay to have some kind of boundary or rule, but not to the point of turning away somebody coming to visit because it makes me look like a huge prick. I told him that there are multiple pragmatic reasons that perfectly justify not being in people's houses with shoes on. But I don't have time to debate that with every single individual who shows up to my place. Also, I was not specifically trying to make it a concern or difficulty. Removing your shoes barely takes 10 seconds or less. Mindlessly arguing about it, however, is the kind of thing that does waste the time of human beings. And it was at this moment I was blocked from the group chat. To me, this just showed their true colors. Anyway, so I don't really care, but I'd like Reddit's opinion on this. Am I the beehole? Okay, OP, I am like 1000% on your side that you are not the beehole. I feel real strongly about this. I think it's disgusting to walk around the house in your shoes. I get it if you have to like run back in to get a bag or you forgot like your water bottle or something when you're leaving. I get that. But yes, I think it's nasty tracking all the stuff from outside inside. There's feces, there's vomit, there's other human fluids on the floor. Yeah, even if it's clean, it still can get on your shoes and be tracked into your home. And I have the same policy where I live. Yeah, you gotta take your shoes off, like I said. It's nasty, and I don't want that in my house. This also makes me remember, you remember the movies? I don't know if people do this in real life. If they do, it's gross. But every time in movies where it'd usually be the teenage character, they'll come home and they'll get in their bed with their shoes and put it on their bed. Ugh, that crawls my flesh. But yeah, OP, you are not the beehole. Screw them. There are people out there like me who will take their shoes off because they understand how disgusting it is to track all that nonsense, all that nastiness into your house. And our next one comes from OK Promise 3644. Am I the beehole for not fighting the school to allow my daughter to do cheerleading since the athletic trainer denied her? I am so tired and need an outside opinion. The school's athletic trainer, Beth, is a very strict woman. She started 2 years ago, and at the time I thought she was just being a bee and on a power trip. She was not. All she was asking for is basic respect. This became really apparent when the school had a meeting about her and went through every single incident with her. They used the camera footage for a lot of the incident. Parents know that the office is recorded, and it showed the kids were awful and she was being professional. The kids were awful and really ended up having a tantrum when she told them no. Many times the kids called her names. And it really made me reevaluate my opinion of her. One example for reference, one kid needed to do a balance test and take off their shoes. She had a fit and refused to do so. The athletic trainer told her that it was fine, but without it, they can't play. She took off her shoes and called her some lovely names, not to mention the parents getting on her B for it. Now my daughter is a sophomore, 15, and she needs to do a concussion test in the winter. If she doesn't, then she can't cheer. She knew about the whole thing, and they had practice for the thing. She gave everyone a time to be in her office. My daughter got a time and didn't go at that time. She went in at the end of practice when she was packing up. Beth told her no, and I'm embarrassed to say it, but my daughter had a huge fit about it. Beth stood her ground on it and went home. Now she is on vacation, and my daughter can't cheer until the concussion test is done. That will probably be done in December, so she's missing a ton of cheer events due to Thanksgiving feast. My daughter was pissed and wants me to fight the school. I told her no, since I saw how she acted. I asked for the footage, and that is what she gets for being inconsiderate to Beth. My wife wants to fight it, and both of them think I'm a huge jerk. Hi, OP. You are not the beehole, and I agree with you. This is a good example of parenting to me, even though I'm not a parent, but I think it's a good example. Your daughter knew what she had to do. She has a designated time to do it, and she didn't do it, so she effed around and found out. Also, your wife needs to stop enabling your daughter's bad behavior and get in line with you because you're going to raise a brat and you need to nip this in the bud right now. Also, good on Beth. Like I said, she gave them time, and she didn't take the time to do it. It doesn't even look like it's going to be a long test. I googled it. It looks like it's just seeing if, putting your finger in front of the eye and following the finger, that type of stuff. I might be completely wrong. I was just looking at pictures real quick. Looking down in the comments, here's one I agree with. From Stinstin555. OP, not the beehole. Your daughter needs to learn a lesson. This is a teaching moment. It's better for her to learn the lesson now, and not later, when the repercussions will surely be harder. I agree. Things will get a lot harder and a lot worse if she doesn't learn to, understand to handle her situations like this. And our next one comes from Historical Store 809. Am I the beehole for asking my boyfriend's disabled sister for my necklace back? I've been with my boyfriend for 9 years. We've shared everything until one day he took it too far. We live in a small apartment to save for marriage and one day children. We are very happy together. He doesn't have a very good relationship with his parents, but he has a sister that has a disability. And he has always been extremely caring over her. He's always been the type to get me presents. When I'm feeling down, he's gotten me an octopus plush and a beautiful necklace. It was rose gold. And I wore it all the time. It's the prettiest thing I own. His sister always took interest in the necklace due to the shine. She came over to look at the necklace. I let her put it on, and she loves it. The next day, it was gone. I looked all over the house. Meanwhile, my boyfriend did nothing but say, "It'll turn up." It clicked in my head that it was obvious his sister took it. But I was late for work, so I left. On my way home, I decided to stop by my boyfriend's mom's. And I was asking about their daughter, and they said she was upstairs, and I was talking to her. When I saw it on her neck and politely asked for it back, but she refused, claiming it was hers and she's not giving it back. I left raging without saying goodbye. I came in and told my boyfriend, and he sat and defended her. I left and spent the night at my parents'. Later that day, I got a message from my boyfriend's mom, and she explained that it was completely out of order, that even after my boyfriend gave it to her. I came storming in and demanded it back. I messaged back and explained I had no idea my boyfriend gave it to her. And I had lost it and wasn't happy because I wore it all the time. She hasn't answered. Am I the bad person? OP, you are not the bad person. You were lied to, gaslit by the person you love and live with. So I'm going to say your boyfriend is definitely the beehole. It sounds like the mother is a bit of a beehole too. She raised the whole thief. I don't blame the sister. She thought this was a gift from her brother and didn't know it was from you, and yeah, I get that. Personally, after him showing you this, it's a bit of a red flag for me. I would think about ending it. Personally, I couldn't be around or live with a thief. I wouldn't trust him with my stuff, and it wouldn't give me a peace of mind. Okay, looking in the comments, we get some more info about the sister. OP says, her parents constantly coddle her. She always gets her way. My boyfriend is always talking about it, but he does it as well. Sometimes I feel he puts her before me, and I know that sounds horrible, but he never spoke to her until I forced him to at least get a good relationship with her. But now I regret it. And then Unhappy Prune 9914 says to OP, keep this in mind when you consider your relationship with him in the future. Will you two be expected to care for her in your home? It seems like he won't defend you with her, and this could be a whole dynamic in a relationship in the future. I agree, you might have to end up dealing with her when the parents don't want to. Keep that in mind. Like I said, if I were in your situation, I would dip. And our next one comes from Throwaway Free Dinner. Am I the beehole for splitting a bill at dinner and not letting my boyfriend pretend that he paid? I, a 24-year-old female, have been dating Ben, a 26-year-old male, for 8 months. For context, Ben and I are from different income brackets. And Ben has expressed that he sometimes feels a bit weird about this because he is a gentleman at heart. But he says it's hard to treat me since I'm not really impressed by his gestures. I've said many times that I'm not concerned about these kind of things, either way, but it comes up periodically. Last night, Ben and I went to dinner with 6 of my friends. There were 3 men in total and 5 women. At the end of the dinner, the 2 guys, Max and Harry, said they would get the bill, as the guys usually do when we're out. Ben quietly said to me that he wasn't really comfortable with the guys paying for his dinner, so I said I'd chip in with the bill. Ben said thank you, but could he chip in and then I could pay him back afterwards because he doesn't want them to know I was paying? This struck me as totally absurd because, firstly, it's an unnecessary step. Second, even splitting the cost was something I wasn't sure he would realistically be able to cover. And third, I feel like he was trying to enter a pissing contest with my friends, which was just childish. I said no. I would just pay and then turn to everyone and said I'd chip in a third of the bill. No one batted an eyelid, but Ben was sulking. He's now mad at me, saying I emasculated him and made him look bad in front of my friends. I think he's over dramatizing it because my friends couldn't care less and he needs to get over himself. Am I in the wrong for not letting him save face? This is so stupid. Not you, OP. You're not the beehole. It's saying your boyfriend's being stupid. So he finds a girl who, OP, you sound pretty chill and low maintenance, not caring about grand gestures and all that. That's the type of woman you want. You sound like someone who doesn't want a big lavish wedding or anything like that. But he's making a big deal about not paying for the food. Who cares? I think, man, if I met a girl and she was like, I got this, and she could I'd be like, that's wifey material right there. But I digress. You didn't emasculate him. If he had just shut up and let everything play out, no one would have batted an eye or cared. He emasculated himself when he started pouting in the corner like a child. And our final one comes from Comp Zep. Am I the beehole for telling my father I will always choose my cat over my half-brother? I, an 18-year-old male, used to have a relatively good relationship with my half-brother, a 19-year-old male, despite the fact that my dad cheated on my mom with his mom, with the excuse that he thought my mom would never be able to provide a child. I never blamed my half-brother for it, and we got along reasonably okay up until I found out he's been sleeping with my then girlfriend. She's 18. I blocked him and haven't talked to him for 4 months now. My cat and my half-brother have the same birthday, so over the past several years, I would attend my half-brother's birthday party in the morning and throw my cat a birthday party afterwards. Yesterday, though, I decided to have an early, extra long party for my cat, instead with my mom. Aunts and friends, they all adore Claire, and I didn't go to my half-brother's birthday, which caused my dad to call and say that I was being a bad brother for not forgiving my half-brother and reconciling. So I told him that my half-brother was the one who betrayed me and that I'm not interested in conciliation. He asked me if my cat is more important, so I said yes, and that I would always choose my cat over him. Now I have 3 aunts, all my mom's sisters, all hate dad for cheating on her. But one of them said I was a bit too harsh on him. Was I too harsh on my father? Too harsh? I think you held back a little too much if I was in your case. So, no, you are not the beehole. Your brother is the beehole, and your father's the beehole too, and it looks like the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. And stupid me was going, why would the father want him to make up with with the brother who cheated on him with his brother's girlfriend? I was like, and I realized, oh yeah, that dad's a dirty cheater too. No wonder he's cool with it and doesn't see it as a problem. And also, what a garbage reason for cheating on your mother. There is no good reason for it. I guess maybe if you're held at gunpoint, maybe, I guess. Like there isn't in vitro fertilization or, there's ways to have a kid, adoption, I don't know. But cheating is not the way to go with that. So no, OP, you are not the beehole. I think it's cute that you celebrate your cat's birthday. I do the same for my dog. Personally, if it were me, I'd have absolutely no contact with my stepbrother. And I'd probably cut out the father too, because he seems to be cool with disgusting things like this. Just keep that in mind, OP, and happy birthday to your cat. Thank you so much for staying with me to the end of this video. Can you please do what I said in the beginning and like, comment, and subscribe? It will really help the channel out, and it'll get you more videos like this every day. Velvet out.